Alright guys, welcome back, and in this video we're going to start working on our views, and by the end of this video you guys are going to learn how to make your very first API request and get actual JSON back. So it's going to be awesome. So go ahead and pop open views.py, and just to save you guys some time I actually copied all the imports we're going to need, and I'll talk to you guys through in detail exactly whenever we are using these what they do. But just real quick, you already know what this does right here. Gets an object or returns a 404 if the object doesn't exist. So let's say they requested like tuna fish company and it didn't exist. API view is just the way that we can make these normal views return API data. This response is so we can send back a specific response status, and it kind of works with this. So basically before we were just sending back HTML, now we need to send back JSON. And also whenever you just request a page and it returns the data normally, that is called a 200 response. Everything went fine. You guys already know what a 404 is. That means, hey, you requested something but it doesn't exist anymore. So maybe you requested someone's picture from Facebook and they deleted it, so that's when you would get 404. And there are other ones too, like 400 means that the user was supposed to be doing something they shouldn't. Like the client and the server communicated correctly, but they like tried to request like the admin page or something. So anyways, that's what these are going to do. And then we just imported stock, all this information in serializers. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to set this up as a class-based view. So in other words, we're going to set it up this way because we want to have it where if the user requests these URLs in different kinds of ways, then they handle them differently. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So for this first class, I'm just going to name stock list, and it's going to inherit from API view. Now what I was talking about, I'm going to go ahead and make two methods in here. So the first one is whenever they make a GET request, and the second one is whenever they make a POST request. So for this example, I'm going to have it where whenever they make a GET request for stock list, it's just going to return all of the stocks that we have, a list of all pretty much everything in our database. Now whenever they make a POST request, what's going to happen is I'm going to let them create a new stock. So again, a POST is kind of like submitting a form, and GET is just kind of like reading information. So I'll say that this either lists all stocks or creates a new one. Now before I continue, I want to mention this. Would you actually want to set this up this way? Would you actually want to put your create functionality into a separate class named stock create? Well, you may want to, but then how am I going to explain class-based REST API views? So, and actually above all of these classes, I'm just going to write a little demo URL. So again, whenever they type this URL in, our website followed by stocks, it's going to get all the stocks. And then later on in the next video, I'm going to show you guys how to just get information about one stock using this URL or like Amazon or something like that. But for right now, let's just keep things simple. All right, let me give myself a little bit more space to scroll around. All right, so for this get method, again, this is the one that's going to return all of the stock information. So we need to pass in request, and instead of pass, which pretty much means do nothing, the first thing we're going to do is we're pretty much just going to go in our database and get all of the stocks. So I'll just say stock objects all. Simple as that, nothing new. So once we have all of our stock objects, all of these right here, we need to go ahead and serialize them. In other words, convert it to JSON. So I'm just going to say serializer equals stock serializer, and this takes two parameters. The first one is what objects are you trying to serialize? Well, all of those stocks that we just got. And the second one is we need to specify that there are many of them, so it doesn't just try to return one JSON object. And after this, of course, remember every single view function, what it needs to do is it needs to return an HTTP response. So this is going to have JSON in it, but still it's a HTTP response. It's being sent over the internet. So we just return a response. And what is the information in our response? Well, just that serializer data. In other words, just the JSON data. Simple enough. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it. This URL is almost working. The one other thing that we need to do is we just need to specify it in URLs right here. And we actually need to import some other stuff. I forgot, just to make sure that these URLs are compatible for basically an API. So REST framework, where are you at? URL patterns, import format suffix patterns, and also from that view we just made, we actually need to import it. So from companies, import views. All right, so URL patterns, format suffix patterns, URL patterns, and I'll explain later on once we create a bunch more, like for updating information and deleting it, then I'll explain that. But for right now, I just kind of want to get things started. So we'll keep the admin since that's the proper URL for that still. But now we need to add another one for stocks. So again, remember the structure we defined right here. So when they go to admin, it's going to take them to the admin panel. Whenever they go to stocks, it's just going to return a list of stocks. So instead of this, we can actually keep things real simple and say views stock list as view. So again, what it's going to do is it's going to say, hey, go ahead and let me get rid of this. Go in your views to the class stock list and return these as a view. Simple enough. So now check this out. Instead of our admin panel, we can go to stocks and boom, look at that. And again, you can actually just do this over Python, or you can do it with your iPhone or Android. Basically, whenever you throw in this URL, you can connect to your website's database and get information from it on any device in the world. So I'm going to do it with the browser right now, but actually check this out. So this is a program that I have, and it's called Postman. And basically what you can do is you can just send different kinds of requests, like post request, put patch, delete. And I'm just going to make a simple GET request from here, send it, and check it out. So this would, kind of more clearly resemble using this information in a program like a piece of software or something like that. So we now can connect to our database, get the data, and then we can either analyze it or do whatever the heck we want with it. So that is the basics of how to make a simple GET request. And in the next videos, I'll show you guys how to add new stocks using these simple requests, and also how you can just retrieve one stock, how you can edit stocks that are already in there, how you can delete them, how to have admin permission so you just don't have everyone deleting them. A bunch of crap. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited. I'll see you next time.